It's not in the face! Thank you.
Hello and welcome to Hey, Not the Face with your host, John Nash, and your producer, me, Steffi Haynes, and we're about to talk UFC 300 again. Now, it's been over a week since it went down, but there is still news coming out of it. John, can you believe that?
No, not really. No. But apparently there is. Or there's news about the news. I think we're at that point of the cycle.
Oh my gosh. We're in the inception of UFC 300 news then, aren't we?
Yes. Milking the news.
No. We're making cheese out of the news by this point.
Yes.
So let me talk to you a little bit about a press release I saw, because the UFC, not only did they put out Dana White's attack on the media this week, they also put out a press release about all the big numbers UFC 300 did. So what exactly do we know about how well the event did?
Well, we know not a lot, but we know what they told us, right? Which is strangely interesting enough. I do want to go back to that press release or not the media attack by Dana White, because I found it. I do not know how Burgermaster 826 is going to come back from this, because that was just devastating what Dana White said about him and his comments. The video it's amazing that we are at the point now where Dana White make an attack the media video where he attacks very few members of the actual, what we consider the media. The rest are just like YouTube, talking head guys creating content who are going to love it, because it's all about, kind of outrage mining a lot of the content for those guys. So they're just going to get like a lot of traffic, and that's all they're looking for.
It's so funny though, because he attacks Ariel, and Ariel spent all weekend defending Dana White and the UFC.
New York Rick from the Ariel show, he did a great thing too. He posted his clip of what he said on the show, and then they cut to the video, and you see how it's been really, when he talks about the fake news, doing the Donald Trump thing, the fake news and misinforming the public and, all that. It's like, you do the exact thing you're projecting on the media right here. It was pretty amazing. So hats off to them for some quality propaganda. The other amazing thing is you see the replies is like 90% of the people that reply and comment on it, they don't care.
Bootlickers, all.
They just like the red meat. They're into they love the attack on the media, and I don't know why there's such hostility to the media, because most guys that cover UFC and MMA are pretty pro and pretty passionate about it.
Yeah.
So it's a weird dynamic.
There's also a lot of media that just completely bends and acquiesces to the UFC's will. When you're that malleable, why are you attacking media as a whole when so much of that media is on your side?
Yeah, I think it's because they haven't put any thought beyond that. Their idea of the media is everybody is not. I'm not going to say me, because my imprint, my footprint is not big enough here in the media landscape of MMA. But everybody, if you don't like Luke Thomas, every member of the media is Luke Thomas. Yeah. I do not know what media these people consume, because again, most MMA media is basically, this fight's happening, this fighter did this tweet, this thing came out from most of it's press releases. So it's a little strange that people get so worked up. And also, people should watch like their local sports media coverage. People are just, they'll rip into like their local football and baseball team and the managers, especially when they're losing. Like, these are the worst people on the planet. They need to fire everybody. They don't know what they're doing. MMA media is not nearly as hostile to the fans or to the promotions and the fighters, I think, as people in MMA assume they are.
Right. And in MMA too, there's a lot of a persecution complex going on from the top down. The fans feel persecuted by the media, the fighters, the promotions, the promoters themselves. It's insane. There are the most coddled people out there, the promoters, but they are with this massive persecution complex from the media, and it feels like everybody in the media has got a target on their back, whether they're pro UFC or not.
Yeah, they're pretty thin-skinned. And it's also surprising because there's a very small percentage of the fan base that's actually actively anti-UFC, that can't stand it, on the forums or
and
on
we
Twitter.
Are not those people, by the way. We actually like fights.
Yeah, well, I'm conflicted because I do feel bad about the brain damage and stuff. There are some problems I have, but still, I enjoy watching combat sports.
Me too.
But yeah, but they focus on that small percentage, which is just a handful, like a below single-digit percentage of the total MMA landscape fan base, and yet assume it's like the promotion is constant under attack by this percentage. So but that's that. We digressed from the original question, but that's the thing about that video clip that was entertaining. Also, it seems to be a low blow considering the state of MMA media right now.
For real, considering that it's all influencers pretty much. When you are out there only giving your interviews to Bradley Martin and the Nelk Boys and Nina Danielle, there's a problem.
And you look at it too, it's like, well, Bloody Elbow's gone. We're here on the Substack, but our reach
is greatly diminished.
Yeah, I'm very thankful to the subscribers, very thankful whatever listeners, but our footprint, our reach has been grossly reduced. Mm-hmm. And then people like Steven Morocco just got let go. One of the best reporters in the business, one of the few guys doing in-depth research. Bloody Elbow is gone, like I said, one of the few sites that kind of covered stuff no one else would cover. Josh Gross, I don't think he does anything in MMA anymore.
Yeah.
So there's a whole landscape of, the people that are still trying to cover it, there is no money in it. Keurig
Jinnis sold the underground, if you can believe that.
Yeah. And the underground was not really known for its investigative reporting either.
No, but I mean, it just tells you the state of MMA as a whole when you're an indie.
Yeah. And there's just the sites that exist. Hats off to them, but I do not think many of them are going to do the type of reporting that used to be done in the past. The fans have let it know, and the people that are still around, they don't really want investigative journalism. They don't read it. And part of it also is the way the industry works, YouTube and Facebook, and everybody stealing the ad revenue and creating, there's no real reading of stuff anymore because it's on Twitter and you just get an encapsulated version. So there's just not, and the YouTube guys have taken over, and maybe some of them are great. I do like, some of the podcasts. I love the Co-Main Event, and I love Luke Thomas and, Brian Campbell, my arch nemesis over there. They're enjoyable, but that's not the same as actual reporting. Hawani breaks some news, but he doesn't do he's not going out going in-depth story, breaking it down. And we do not have. So we lose that. And most of the YouTube stuff now seems about guys just, mining outrage.
Yeah, the guru guy, that's the biggest outrage miner of them all right now.
I don't even know who that is, tell you the truth. I mean, I see the name pop up, but I've never seen him.
Some angry neckbeard dude. But anyways, let's go back here to this press release before we get way off track, because this press release was really interesting because those numbers, wow.
Yeah, well, because we are dedicated to the business side, it was very nice of them to release a bunch of business financial information about UFC 100.
300.
300, whatever. They're all the same. They have 2 zeros. No one notices. When you're at my age, it all bleeds together.
I'm older than you, John.
Yeah, well, we're both old, and that's the problem. So, but for the gate, it sold out. Largest UFC event at T-Mobile, did a $16.5 million gate. We talked about it before, but according to Fred Garvin, P. Garvin Real, I hope I got his handle right. Fred Garvin on Twitter, who kind of goes through. Good guy.
You guys should follow him. He's got a lot of information.
No, he's an angry drunk. I maybe retract the idea that you should follow him, but occasionally look up what he tweets. But he has he does a great job of when the tickets go on sales, he goes through, sees how many tickets are available at what price, and totals up what the sellout. It's just basically hard work going through and adding all the numbers up. And UFC should have been at between a $22 to $24 million sellout, basically like Tank Davis versus Ryan Garcia level. And yet it only did $16.5 million, even though it was a sellout. So that suggests that a large number of tickets were comped, and I'm guessing they're comped to a lot of celebrities there because, Endeavor is they love. It's worth losing money on ticket sales to get very famous people in the audience, right?
And they are a talent agency too, and so they've got a lot of talent. I know The Rock was there.
Oh yeah, so they had probably whole sections to corporate allies and super famous people because they want them on TV because it brings up and so having celebrities at events also can drive up ticket prices. So people seeing celebrities at the UFC is probably good for them because people will start paying more for future UFC events because they're hoping to see celebrities there.
Now I have a quick question.
Yes.
What would happen? Because remember when TKO Holdings unveiled at the beginning of last year, they talked about possibly hosting big WWE events on the same weekend and in the same locale as a big UFC weekend. So imagine if WrestleMania 40, WrestleMania XL, whatever it was called, aired not the week before UFC 300, but the same week. What kind of revenue would we be looking at?
Well, on revenue from the ticket sales or the site fees?
Everything. Just give me a ballpark of how much money.
I'm going to say they're not going to do, it could be a big event, but I very much doubt they're going to do WrestleMania and the UFC, like a numbered event, something like that at the same, because you run into the problem is WrestleMania, my understanding, you follow wrestling, I think more than I do because I don't follow it at all.
Right.
But based on Twitter is that it's like an all weekend thing. It's multiple events, right? They have two WrestleMania nights and then they have that other promotion they do next on another night.
Yep.
So you're tying up the whole weekend right there. It might be too much for the location, but let's say they had two big, UFC events in 1 week, a UFC and a WWE massive event in a weekend. I mean, listen, you're going to see the ticket sales for a UFC event and WWE are both going to be over, 8 figures, so 10. So you're looking at the number of people coming in. They are probably going to get a large site fee. You're probably looking at kind of the old boxing site fee. I guess you're probably looking at a $30 million weekend for the tickets and site fees and everything, realistically.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, I'm talking about a massive event. A smaller event, obviously lower. But yeah, it's a ton. It's a ton of money. It's an impact.
What if we did what they do in July for Fight Week and we have like a whole week or 2 weeks? Maybe we make it a festival of sorts. Make it a Coachella where it happens over the course of 2 weekends. I don't doubt that they've got their big brains trying to figure out the most social way to profit right now. To access the bonus content of this episode, you must be a paid subscriber. To do that, go to heynottheface.substack.com and subscribe today.
Ow! Ow! Not the face! Ooh! Okay, the face!